Hey, hello everybody, JCranky here, back with the video. In this one I want to talk about the upgrades I did to my Anet A8 so that it could handle better prints and a few other things about this printer in general. So let's start. The first thing I printed when after I assembled this printer was the spool holders up here. So those two orange pieces, because I wanted a better place to leave my spools while the printer was working. The spool holder that comes with it is a separated piece that goes on the side, but I find it really awkward and hard to find a corner to leave the print working while still having some space for the spool. So having it up here is quite convenient. You could even have two spools if you want, although for this printer it's not that useful to have two. Well, another kind of upgrade that I did a lot is structural upgrades, so upgrades to improve print quality and the whole frame stability, because the way this printer works, it has several acrylic pieces, so when it's assembled together it trembles a lot, and with those upgrades I did, it trembles a bit less. By the way, everything that I did here, or most of the things that are here, you can find on Thingiverse. For the stability, I did those T junctions here. Some people in the internet say that this is useless, and I completely disagree. This is awesome, this holds the frame quite well. What else? There is a frame holder down here below the plate with a big piece that holds the whole thing better together, strongly. In terms of stability, there is also those small caps here and here for the screw rods, so that they will tremble less when the printer is working. Before that, this would just go back and forth. Just that small bit that was enough to screw up print quality. In terms of stability, I think that's basically it. Another kind of upgrade that I have a lot here is visual. So obviously there's this screw here on the fan, the part cooling fan. There is functionally there is this button up here, so to feed the filament in the printer you had to press this guy down and push the filament in here, but originally it's only a small screw that's here that you have to press, and it really hurts your finger. I printed this guy just at a better surface, and then it doesn't hurt at all. It's way easier to do with that. Visually there is also this cable chain here. Originally all those wires come from up here and down back there to the board, and this is a complete mess. Like, this is way better. There's all sorts of different cable chains you can find in Thingiverse. I wanted to do that for the print plate as well, but I got a bit lazy, and it's not as critical as this one here. So another kind of upgrade I have here in some places is pieces to make it easier to adjust the belt tension, so those belt here and the print belt back here. But for example, this piece you can see here, it's a screw that I can unscrew with my hands and then adjust the tension directly here, and I can now check if it's okay. And for this belt up here is similar, but instead of having this manual screw, I have to use a screwdriver, but that's okay, and just adjust this piece back here. So there's an extra piece in the side that I can just screw and unscrew to make the belt tighter or less tight. Yet another upgrade I did was replacing the bearings. So the bearings that carry the whole print head here, and the bearings that hold the heat pad. The bearings in general, so they are down here, and those I replaced them with more silent version. So one that's it's not a ball bearing, but it's actually smooth inside, so it's really silent. I have a small clip I'll put in here. What else? Structurally, I added those small caps below both motors, so both here and here. So it's a bit of stability issue thing as well, but in this case it's more static than stability, but stability counts a bit as well. Also, I have those fits here, and actually all around. So I have 6 pairs, so 3 pairs, so 6 fits. 2 here, 2 in the middle, 2 in the back. Also for noise reduction, it may sound weird, but it helps. Which it makes the whole thing tremble less. It somehow absorbs some of the trembling that the printer does. One thing you can't barely see, but there is behind here a filament guide that I did as well, which makes the filament move less back and forth while the printer is printing. So while print head here is moving back and forth, the filament has to go together with it, and with this guide here it's more stable. I don't know if this makes any real difference, but it's something I liked to do. What else? This guy here on the spool holder, so this is quite cool as well. One of the first prints I did, or at least one of the first prints that I did that I liked the results. This one was when I discovered that I could print, for example, squirrels kinds of things. There's one extra thing that I should mention, which is, and it's something that I mentioned in one of the previous videos. Let's see, I know I can do the opposite. So let's talk about this guy. This is what I mentioned in the past, some video, and the problem with this is that originally it was a piece of plastic here, and the wire came here and was bent. So as the hitch bed moved back and forth, it was bending the cable, which means at some point it obviously break. So what I did is to remove everything, and I soldered the wires directly there, and it's way better now. Although I still don't trust this 100%. I'm not the best solderer guy around there, but it's at least better. After a while, the original version, it actually broke on me. So it's not like I was preventing something, I was actually fixing because it broke. It first starts breaking and starts generating small sparks even, which means part of the plastic was starting to burn. That's when I noticed it, and then I did some quick work around it, came back to normal, and a few moments later, I don't know, days maybe, I don't remember, it broke again. And then this time I noticed because the hitch bed was not hitching at all, which I can say was lucky. Instead of burning the whole thing, it basically stopped working, so less bad. But yeah, so something to take care of this printer. So again, like I mentioned in some other video, I don't recommend buying this printer anymore at this point. But if you do, and if you want to assemble everything, those are the upgrades I did. Also, maybe there are some ideas here you could use for your own printer. All the printers that are XYZ style like these, they are similar, so maybe there are some ideas for you to use. Extra bonus point. This is not a proper upgrade, I would say, but I also bought this thing here, which a button that I can use to turn the printer on and off, because this printer has no on and off button. Power cable comes loose, you have to screw it in here in the power unit, and then if you want to turn it on and off, you have to plug in the power socket and unplug it, which is really annoying. So I just bought this piece, and I connect the power output to the printer here, and then I can just turn it on and off with the buttons. Despite all these disadvantages of this printer, I can say that there's lots of people that have this printer and did lots of cool upgrades, which makes it a very community friendly printer, because lots of people know how to do with that. It's also fun to tweak stuff and see the results of what you're trying to do. After doing lots of tweaks and fixing these things that I mentioned here, and also better learning how to use software, to use Cure for example, to slice the models, I have to say that I end up having a great quality results with this printer. So another upgrade that I did was this. And this, you can see those big nuts kind of things that I printed, because originally they use wing nuts and it's not as convenient to screw and unscrew to level the bed. Also, the wing nuts are too large, so depending on how they end, they can hit the acrylic part here, which makes lots of noise and can cause trouble, of course. I also printed, now you can see from behind here, this piece here, so that is a better way to hold the belt. Originally they want you to use zip ties to do that, and I absolutely hate doing that, so I printed this part here, and then it's a better way to hold the belt instead of zip ties. And the same thing goes underneath, so to hold the belts underneath the heat bed, I also printed these kinds of upgrade parts where you can just fit the belt in, it fits exactly, and then it's not going anywhere. Alright, I think that's all I have. Lots of small things that I did over time. I didn't do this at once, but as I learned, one piece at a time, and now this is the current state. Oh no, one extra even, just remember. The LCD back here, the way it's assembled, has two boards, and one of them was originally screwed only on the upside. So over time, over several hours, hundreds of hours of printing, it started to wobble a bit, and then it started to make some weird noise, making the printer even more noisier than it was already. It took me a while to understand what was happening, and then I simply unassembled this part, and I noticed the wobble thing, and I just added another screwed it in, and now it's really fixed there. It's not trembling anymore, not going anywhere. So these kinds of small details is important to keep in mind. So look at the whole thing, see if something is trembling that shouldn't be. Now I'm done. I hope you guys liked this small video. And if you liked, hit the like button. Leave in the comments if there's anything you want to know about. And yeah, subscribe to the channel and see you next time. Bye bye.